Good morning, everyone. Got your coffee? I got mine. So listen, I don't have too much today. I always say that, don't I? But I'm going to chit chat for a little bit. But before I get started, obviously, I want to start off with my thank yous. I want to say thank you so much to, if I say your name wrong, please forgive me. Begum or Begam. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope I didn't offend you just then. I'm awful with linguistics. But I thank you so much, and I got your note, and I appreciate you too. I do. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate everyone who joins me every single morning for a cup of coffee. That means so much to me. More to me than you all could imagine. Listen, before I start talking and chit-chatting with you all, I want to say something to Lynetta. Lynetta, you sent me these soaps, and I ran out of body wash. And so I went to these soaps that you sent me. And when I tell you, I can smell this soap throughout my whole entire house, mind you. Like, all the way from my master bathroom all the way into this music room. I mean, I know it's on me, but my bathroom smells so calming and so peaceful. And so I had to look this company up real quick and see who made these wonderful soaps. It's from a company by the name of Herb and Eden. And not Urban Eden, because I almost got that confused, but I'm like, that's not how it's spelled on the shipping slip. It's Herb and Eden. And they are Black owned. And it's a husband and wife duo. These are fantastic. And she sent me a few of them. Sister, sometimes I don't get to the things that you all send for me right away. You know, and it takes me a little bit of time. But then when I get to reaching for it, and then I see how fabulous it is, I'm like, now I see why she sent them. And you must have thought I was something special to spend this kind of money on me. So thank you so much for that. And I just wanted to mention to those of you all who care about buying black, you would be buying black. And it's a great product, because my bathroom, I literally just want to go in there and just sit down. That's how calming. Literally. So much better than those bundles you get from Trader Joe's, you know, the eucalyptus, and you hang them in your shower. I've done that. I've done the eucalyptics, those little, it just so happened that you sent it to the right person. I do those discs. The discs are okay, but I always wonder about what's actually going down my drain when I'm sitting down my drain. Plus, they don't last very long, and they're only good for, like, really if you have a guest, you know, and you want to impress your guest, because they don't last that long. And you put, you know, those little discs you put over your drain, and they've got the herbs in it. So much better. Just use a bar of this. Put it in your soap dish, and your bathroom is going to be on point. I promise you. I spent more time on that than I wanted to, but I just had to mention this fabulousness, and I had to give a proper thanks to Lynetta. Lynetta, baby, thank you. I appreciate you, and you put me on to something new. And buying black owned and supporting black owned businesses, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. A lot of people talk the talk, but I do try to, you know, walk the walk. I do. I try my best. You know, let me tell you guys something. It took me a real long time to learn this lesson, but I learned it, but I have to reinforce it, because you know, like when you go to therapy, you know, your therapists are going to give you these tools that you're going to use all throughout the rest of your life. You are. And sometimes you will find yourself, you know, slipping a bit. But you have these tools, you know, you see, and then you remember to use your tools. And I remember my therapist saying this to me one time in a session. Listen to it, because it goes over the head of most people. She said to me, and I know I've mentioned it before, but it bears mentioning again because it's so revolutionary. She said that the most violent, non-physical thing that you can do to another person is to ignore them. Now, I find that to be quite true. I do. As much as you might want to go back and forth and you might be triggered to argue, in my mind, and this is nothing, revolutionary, but in my mind, all that is one problematic person meeting another problematic person halfway. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I view arguing unnecessarily, and going back and forth with people when you don't have to do that. So I've had to remind myself recently that I have to go get back to, and I'm pretty good at it, mind you. I'm a lot better at it than I think most people are. Just ignoring people. I mean, because no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, no matter how you move, somebody somewhere is going to always have some shit to say. It doesn't matter what you do. It really doesn't. You can save a bunch of babies in an orphanage from a burning building, and it's going to be somebody in the crowd that's going to say you did it wrong, even though you saved every single life in the building. It's always going to be somebody that's going to project and going to center themselves because they are just so obsessed with being recognized, being heard, being acknowledged. They're obsessed with that shit. And those people need to go to therapy too. Somebody always gonna have something to say, no matter what. And then, so when you're on social media, I have to be even more careful, because on social media where people can hide themselves, there's always going to be some angry, bitter, resentful, jealous, hateful person with something to say. And I'm pretty good at ignoring those people and not acknowledging them and just going ahead and making them a hidden user. God only knows when they'll figure out that nobody can see their comment except for them. But I get better and better and better and better at it the longer I do this. And those types of people no longer even trigger me anymore, because I know the fundamentals, like I just explained. Sometimes so, but don't get me wrong. It doesn't mean that you can ignore everything. You're not going to be able to ignore all things, but the things that you cannot ignore, you can definitely ignore all things online. Online, in that sense, it's not even real, because these are people who are hiding behind keyboards. They're not even important, mind you. You can just block them. You don't have to go back and forth with them. And I've had people who have said to me, well, the reason why I do that is because I just like to argue. And and I politely tell them that if you like to argue sit online. No matter what side of the argument that you're on, and argue with people, you could probably stand to, go to therapy and get a couple of checkups. You could. Nobody wins an online argument. It's pointless. And then too, I know that most people who do that need some kind of therapy, some kind of help. And I'm a lot of things, but I'm not a therapist. I can't help anyone work their shit out. And I am absolutely 100% not interested in helping anyone work their shit out. Go project your bullshit on somebody else. I can't care. I mean, I really could not care less. I just can't. But then you have real life situations that you're not going to be able to ignore. And sometimes you're just going to have to stand on business. And trust me when I tell you, I have no problem with that. Those are the moments that I live for. Because I am an introvert and I tend to be quiet, people tend to think that in my real life, people tend to mistake that for me being fearful or passive or submissive. I'm none of those things. I'm just an actual adult who I don't care to get in conflict with strangers on the street, and I'm not going to do that because I have better ways to spend my time. But there are going to be times, like I said, when you are going to have to engage. And that brings me to this tennis match between these two players, Taylor Townsend, and I believe her name is Jelena Ostapenko. If I'm saying her name wrong, I'm saying it wrong. Who gives a fuck? But this argument that took place on court is one of the reasons why I do not engage specifically with white women. Not even in public. When they try to engage me and have small talk, I keep it, if I have to answer, I keep it at one word answers. I just don't engage them. I'm not friendly with them. Because the minute you are not the kind of black person that they want you to be, they do what that white woman did on the court. She said some of the most racially charged things. Now, for whatever reason, Taylor Townsend didn't want to take it there, and she didn't want to say it was racist. I'll say it was racist. It was racist. It was 100% racist. Because those are the kinds of things that white women say to black women when they become angry with us. You have no class. You have no education. She said that to that black woman in a stadium full of people because she lost a tennis match to a black woman. I'm very, very mindful at how I engage with white women. Jelena Ostapenko is why I am very, very, very mindful with how I engage white women. White people in general, but especially white women. Because the thing about white women is what they will do. Unlike white men, they can't appeal to our womanhood, our sense of womanhood. Because womanhood, we're all supposed to be in this together. But we can never be in it together with white women because white women will always choose whiteness over womanhood. Always. When given a choice, they will always lean into their white privilege. It's one of the reasons why misogyny and patriarchy are so dominant here in America. Because white women will always choose race over sisterhood. And at the end of the day, that will always cause them to throw black women under the bus. There are so many moments in history where they have done this repeatedly, time after time after time after time. And I think that black women are finally starting to get a clue that we cannot trust white women, that they are not our sisters. By the way, I always correct white women when they call me sis. That is something now, however you other black women feel about that, that's your business. But white women cannot call me sis. I do not allow for it. You can call me by my first name. You can call me by my last name. You can even call me the woke gardener. But you can never call me sis. Never. My sisterhood with black women runs deep. And I have never felt in a sense of sisterhood with white women. I know too much of our history to ever feel a sense of sisterhood with white women. You got to be more than just a woman for me to refer to you as sister. We have to really be in it together through the thick and the thin for you to call me my sister. We got to be in the fight together, fighting for the same things for me to call you my sister. And I've never, ever felt any of that with white women. Not even when it came to fighting for women's rights have I ever felt in sisterhood with white women. Because white women will always choose race over womanhood. And the only time that they are ever in that kumbaya sisterhood thing with black women, Latino women, Asian women, is when they need our numbers in order to have their agenda met. Then it's, we're all in this together. We all need to stand together. Y'all have heard the speeches. Y'all hear them online. And then when black women are shouting about our sons and husbands and cousins and brothers and uncles are being murdered in the street by your husbands and cousins and sons and uncles with impunity, help us. They lean right into their whiteness and they side with the white men. When we're saying, look at our maternal death rates and our infant mortality rates. Look at how we are treated. Look at medical racism. White women. That's y'all. Y'all, they ain't got nothing to do with us. Not all. I mean, there's some white women individually who understand and they see what's going on and they acknowledge it. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the collective of you. And the collective of you don't give a fuck about black women. And that translates into everything you do, particularly the way you treat us. And over something like a tennis match. And for the whole wide world to see. But she said she wasn't racist. That's all that I have for today. Oh, I did want to say this too. Did y'all hear about Tamar Braxton? Now, I'm not one of those like gossip bloggy type people. But, you know, she was found in a pool of her own blood, missing teeth. And they said it was an accident. Is there any more news on that? Because I actually have been praying for sis. Nobody deserves that. I mean, what kind of accident could have caused that? I mean, was she beaten? Is there any more news on that? I've really been praying for sis. I have. I hope whatever is going through, you know, you got to watch the people around you. You do. And I imagine when you're a celebrity, because when you're a regular schmegular person, you got to watch the people around you. Because, honey, let me tell you, people who are jealous of you, people who don't like you, they're dangerous to you. And just imagine having some celebrity. Anyway, that is all that I have for today. I'd love to hear what you all got to say down in the comments. If you would like to support the Library Pantry, this platform, or just buy me a cup of coffee, I'll leave my Cash App and Venmo down in the comments. Y'all have a good day. Have a righteous day. Don't be nobody's problem today. If you can help somebody, help somebody. And remember, prayer without action is worthless. Have a good one.